and administrators will share how we're fostering student excellence each day. Tune into the WTIM Morning Show for our Good News segment, and go Tornadoes.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, as well as Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Locked and Loaded Limited, and your Pana Save a Lot. The WTIM Pana Morning Show thanks all sponsors that help bring you this every single Tuesday morning. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Pana Police Chief Daniel Bland. Good morning to you, Chief Bland. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well, and glad to hear from you today. It's been a little while since I got to see you down at the police department, and so let's talk that little gap in coverage that we've had here. Can you tell me a little bit about what's taken place since from about March to April now as we get into May? Can you give me an idea of some of the stats and different things that we took care of?
Right, absolutely. The last couple months have been busy on our end. A lot of activities. Definitely been busy with calls for service. The month of March was really busy. April, not as bad as March. May has improved, but yet naturally every day we've dealt with just situations that are expected of us as far as solving crime, and had some break-ins, some meth arrests, domestics. We've had several things going on out the school as far as just issues to deal with there. We had a major bullying incident and investigation involving several students, which drew a lot of resources in. We've had some compliance checks, liquor and tobacco. We've been super busy. We had an officer injured during the end of March, I believe, 1st of April area. We're taking a subject into custody, so he's been off, which has reduced staff, which increases pressure and responsibility. So we've been really busy. That's one of the reasons why I've missed the last couple appointments with you, just pulling me out into the street and helping officers deal with calls and whatnot. But we are, as always, we're trying to stay on top of things and trying to find ways to reduce crime, improve quality of life, and make this community safer. But we're still rolling.
Chief Bland, I'm glad to have you here, but when duty calls, I'd probably rather have you out there as well, for those folks down in Pana, and best wishes for the officer that was injured. A crazy sounding situation in a lot of ways, and so hopefully get that back and go ahead and keep that ball rolling, and hopefully do so with another man to the staff there as well. You mentioned March, that it was a particularly busy month. Was anything out of the ordinary in the month of March, or was it pretty much just standard acts, standard calls and concerns, just at a heightened level?
Yeah, it wasn't as far as arrestable offenses per se out of the norm. It just calls for service. I think it was just every once in a while you have spike in calls for service with just maybe some mental health contacts increased. Naturally there's always going to be times when you'll have a spike in domestics. When the weather changes, you get, with the month of March, people are moving more out later through the night, so it definitely just increases contact with police. Obviously more people are out with nicer weather, so they're reporting more activity, they're seeing more activity, whether through the nights or throughout the day, suspicious people, because people, we have tremendous support with our community on reporting suspicious activity and behaviors, and which that then in turn directs resources to problem areas, situations. So, that the actual, seriousness of calls per se wasn't, over the top, but it was just definitely active with police involvement, calls for service.
Checks out with me. As more people are out and about, means more no good is also being probably had as well, but also more folks to kind of see it and try and stomp it out a little bit as well. So checks out with me for the month of March. April, getting back to a little bit more normalcy, and then same with here at the start of May. You touched on compliance checks just a moment ago. What can you tell me on that end?
Yeah, we did. We worked with the Illinois Liquor Commissioner back in March and did a liquor compliance check. It'd been a couple of years actually with just resources and scheduling and trying to get things done like that, but we were able to put together that compliance check, and we there's 12 establishments we checked, and actually we had 7 in violation, which was disappointing to us, as far as that number goes. But yet, accountability, fines, education, the businesses naturally stay on top of training and requirements for those who are selling alcohol and verifying they're not selling to minors. It was a disappointing number, but yet obviously the more frequent we do that, the better the numbers are, and so, with that in turn, we turned around and did a tobacco compliance check here just a couple of weeks ago, and checked 13 establishments, in which we had only one violator of 13 establishments, which is a much better turnaround response. They were held accountable, but yet had a chance to freshen up requirements and things. And naturally, businesses, they have to be reminded there's responsibilities on their end as well. And everybody has turnover rates of employees and who's working, but we definitely don't want alcohol and getting into the hands of kids and behind the wheel and things like that increases the risk of injury to those and innocent bystanders. So it's something we're working to target more often, because we know when we target those areas, it definitely helps reduce, kids getting involved with things like that as best as possible anyway. So we're happy with the outcomes as far as the tobacco. Naturally, the liquor is a different story, but yet the more we do that, the better the numbers will be. We're certain of that.
And being certain about, a reduction in violations in terms of liquor and tobacco sales to minors, is that something now that you've kind of planned? And I don't want to out you, and let folks know of when you might be scheduling something like that. But are we thinking more consistently, maybe every 6 months, every 3 months, doing just more regular checks now to continue to get that number to drop?
Yes, we are. I mean, obviously we work with the tobacco compliance check. We work with the Christian County Health Department. We appreciate their support and involvement. So naturally, with our staffing alone, it's difficult to do. So we're working with other agencies to get support, and so they're scheduling and things. But naturally, it needs to be done more often. We're going to work to get it done, periodically throughout each year.
And we got to get some officers back, and we got to get some staff numbers bolstered a little bit there as well. But I appreciate you filling us in on that as well, and hopefully we can get those violations more in check with the tobacco compliance checks that took place as well.
Right.
Since we're talking about kind of previous or what has taken place a little bit, any notable cases that you're willing to tell me about in regards to the city of Pana?
Well, there's during the month of March, our task force was able to intercept some an individual delivering meth through the postal service, pretty large quantity, which can affect an entire, especially our town, but entire region as far as just, trafficking methamphetamine that way. Naturally working with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and our task force. And, that plays with a small community and the amount of controlled substance coming in like that. It doesn't take much to turn our community, upside down for a weekend or a week when it starts being distributed out. So that was a major case. We just have to get a result on. Naturally, it's, with the methamphetamine effects in our area, it affects all calls for service. So we're always targeting things like that. The task force is, let alone just the day-to-day possessions, warrant arrests, things of that nature, because they all, unfortunately, talked about it. It intertwines itself. And, your trespasses, your loitering, the homeless people, many of them suffer from that addiction. So the more we can take meth off the street, the better our community is, the safer our community is, the safer our families are, the safer our kids are, reduction in mental health. So yeah, it's there's some cases. Naturally, the possessions alone, we don't consider them major cases, but they're an impactful, contact where you make an arrest, you get them into the system. Hopefully, there's some resources routed through the court system or accountability either way to get them out of that vicious cycle. And then obviously we route through these safe passes, which is another. We've had a busy couple of months there as well with multiple intakes with the Safe Passage program and working with Stacy and her ministry. So, but yeah, there's it's a lot goes on within our community, but yet we just keep pressing forward, trying to problem solve and help the citizens we serve.
So if I'm reading all of this right, as we head into our first break here in just a moment, between the USPS case and meth trafficking, between the bullying incident, between the increase in calls in March for Service side and the bolster or the, we'll say the renewed compliance checks that were done,
Mm-hmm.
we've been keeping busy and we know some of the things that we want to continue to work on. Well, Police Chief Daniel Bland of the Pana Police Department joining us here on the WTIM Pana Morning Show. We'll come back around with Chief Bland and we'll talk more as we move into the summer months and what changes that means for the Pana Police Department. You're listening to WTIM, our Pana Morning Show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. Pizza Man, Norrin's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited.
Your information station, WTIM.
This is Joe Wills with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial services to achieve their financial goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dinner time just got easier with Pizza Man Pana. Enjoy great food that includes amazing pizza, tasty pasta, salad bar, and chili. On Monday nights, enjoy the spaghetti special with garlic bread and a side salad for $8. On Tuesday nights, come in for the lasagna special with garlic bread and a side salad for $9. On Wednesday nights, grab yourself an individual pizza and side salad for $9. Pizza Man Pana is proud to be serving Pana and the surrounding areas with great Italian food since 1985.
Norrin's Hardware is a local family-owned store offering a wide selection of quality hardware supplies at competitive prices. Whether you need plumbing supplies or electrical supplies, you're sure to find what you need at Norrin's Hardware Store, including ice melt, shovels, gloves, heat tape, pipe insulation, portable heaters, and propane to get ready for the winter months. Our staff is committed to providing outstanding customer service and is ready to assist you. Visit our store at 55 Main Street in Pana today.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Chip Flory. We join you weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on WTIM on AM and FM and on the WTIM streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on your ag information station, WTIM.
This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager at Landmark of Taylorville. We are celebrating springtime with unbelievable discounts. Right now, you can get employee pricing on most of our new in-stock models. You pay what we pay on our award-winning Chevy, Buick, and GMC lineups. Plus, with over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships and our lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? Have a vehicle you want to sell? Bring it by for a quick, no-hassle appraisal. All roads lead to Landmark of Taylorville, where you can save thousands with employee pricing. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Come to the big meet and greet happening Tuesday, May 6th from 10 till 2 at Central Illinois Truck Service, just off Interstate 70 in Greenville. Free food, giveaways, and door prizes. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones. The SIU Center for Family Medicine of Taylorville is accepting new patients. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com to schedule your appointment.
WTIM.
Back around with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. And our Pana Morning Show is brought to you as well by Pizza Man, Norrin's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Police Chief Daniel Bland of the Pana Police Department. We've talked about the last couple of months, kind of recapping, getting ourselves to where we are now. And as the summer days and the summer months continue to inch closer, so does changes being made by the Pana Police Department. Tell me about summer activities, if you would, and what kind of changes that you would like to alert the community to.
Well, we're like every agency, you try to prepare for what's anticipated and yet also the unexpected. But naturally, with the summer months, calls for service activity always picks up. Let alone not with just calls for service for us, but just good activities for the community, events at the parks. There's downtown events, disc golf events, golf. I mean, there's always something, and that's a good thing for the community. But it puts on an additional responsibility from our agency to prepare for that. And so it's good to reach out to the public and remind them of things that they can do to help us with crime prevention and education. And, because naturally, as we discussed earlier, with just people out later, it's good to report suspicious activity, keep your doors on your vehicles locked, keep, valuables out of sight. There's always something that's something can be done to prevent something like that, but it's good to have reminders like that, with the events coming on. There's, the park, we have a disc golf tournament coming up in the park. There's naturally some major events throughout the summer, baseball events, tournaments. So we're expecting to have a busy summer, but we're also looking to do everything we can to have a safe summer with traffic movement, crime prevention things. So yeah, we're heading into a busy summer naturally, and we're going to do all we can to have a safe summer.
Chief Bland, on the end of crime prevention, what can you tell me there in terms of the idea or what the Pana Police Department is looking to do to help prevent crime in Pana?
Well, like anything, one of the best preventions of crime is just reporting suspicious persons and activities. That especially involves, problematic areas, locations where there's suspicious activity, obviously beyond just someone walking by, but yet if there's routine, regular suspicious traffic to and from certain places, houses, locations, is obviously a clue that something illegal could be going on, drug trafficking, things like that. So we encourage people to call us. It's not uncommon for us to get a call the following day of a concerned citizen saying that, someone was cutting through their backyard in the middle of the night. And they felt it. They didn't want to bother us by calling, or just they reported the following day. Naturally, we're open 24/7. 911's open 24/7. Make a phone call. Get us into that area as soon as possible, because a lot of times we can deter criminal activity by putting a police presence, in that area and targeting individuals that might be out prowling around looking for vulnerable areas to break in. And that's why it's important to never hesitate to report those activities. And naturally, you get into just sharing with family members reminders of, tips on keeping things locked up, keeping your houses illuminated at night, so it helps police patrol presence. We can see better throughout the neighborhoods between houses and businesses, things of that nature. It's just, we've always had a great working relationship, but we always encourage people, never hesitate to call us. And that way we can, we can be there as quickly as possible, even though our resources are minimal. That's always the best way of preventing crime, is reporting ahead of time, and then naturally just, helping your neighbors, because naturally with the number of staffing we have, we can't be everywhere at once. But watch out for your neighbors, and just know there's, it's a minimal number, but yet it doesn't take a lot for our small community to have people that choose to, be involved in criminal activity and looking for vulnerable areas to break in and steal, to support habits and things of that nature. So when you see something suspicious, as always, report it, from the smallest of situations up to even obviously the most extreme. We want to be notified, and that's a great way of preventing crime from happening.
And I appreciate the message. Notify us right away. We want to be there for you. No matter the time, and we appreciate the courtesy and you looking out for us in terms of what time you might be calling, but make sure that we can get eyes on that individual, or at least in that relative area as well. Chief Bland, with just a little less than a minute to go here, any other changes to expect as we head into the summer, or any other changes that we're thinking of as of right now?
Well, we're naturally getting into summer season. You're getting into the boating season. Pana Lake area is our jurisdiction as well. So that we'll be pushing out some safety reminders, regulations for the Pana Lake, requirement of boat stickers locally, as well as the state level. Safety of operations, equipment inside the boats. We want to have a safe boating season.
Yep.
Naturally, so we'll be sharing that information. It increases the traffic out of the lake as well. We're nothing like a larger lake, Shelbyville, Taylorville area, but we do have a lot of people that like to come in to a small area. So we'll be targeting that area as well for just safety of boat operation, traffic operation, as well as just congregating in areas. So yeah, a lot going on.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much to you, Chief Bland, for joining me here. Chief Bland of the Pana Police Department on the WTIM Pana Morning Show here on your information station.
Also, Mr. Trump not giving up on the idea of Canada as America's 51st state, saying the military needs less general